For me, a mentor is someone that can help guide me and help me grow as a worker. You can find a mentor in many places, such as schools, neighborhoods. You could pay for a mentor, or during practicums, and in the workplace. Some characteristics that I would want my mentor to have would be being a good listener, empathetic, non-judgmental, having a good clinical background, experience, a leader, someone who wants to see me succeed, someone who's caring, someone who's organized and responsible. Those characteristics are important to me because that's what I know I need in a mentor. For example, I find myself to be very organized and a responsible person, so I wouldn't want a mentor that isn't organized because I would get frustrated with them. Therefore, I find it important that my mentor has some same characteristics that I have. Once I've obtained a mentor, I would use them to help me with case consults. So sitting down and talking about cases that I have and talking about what I'm doing right, what I can improve on, and then giving me ideas on where I could go from there. I could use them during difficult situations. So like I've said, when I feel like I'm getting stuck, my mentor or supervisor could help me, maybe challenge me in ways that could help me look at cases in different ways, and that could help me get unstuck. Another way I would use my mentor or supervisor would be for personal development. So they could watch me in my practice and give me feedback on how they think I'm doing and where I can improve on, which would help me grow and develop as a worker. Because I'm a new worker in the field, I think especially now I need critical feedback, and that will help me grow as a worker. And that will help me with other cases that I will have in the future that might be the same. I would negotiate with a mentor or supervisor by sitting down and having a discussion with them face to face, and also figuring out the duration of the meeting so that you're aware of how much you can talk about and how much you can go over in one specific meeting. I know that in some workplaces it could be every first Wednesday of a month, so just one time a month. But in some workplaces it could be 2 or 3 times a month that they have supervision, depending on how their clientele is. And for the duration, it could depend on the worker and how many clients they need to talk about. Most meeting times are an hour, but depending on the cause, it could be more than an hour. Also, if a worker has a question, in most places you're allowed to call your supervisor, or you could call the supervisor that's on call, and they could help you with any questions that you've had. I find that very helpful for workers because that shows that they have support even when the supervisor isn't physically there when you need them. How I would know if I outgrew my mentor or supervisor would be when I have questions about a specific case and it's not in their area of specialty. I would have to go to ask someone else who is experienced in that, and that could help me. But also when I don't need their help anymore and that I know I can do it on my own. Because I'm not experienced in the field, I don't think I would outgrow my mentor or supervisor until I have years of experience. Because when I start in the field, I know every day will be a learning experience, and I will be thankful for a mentor and supervisor because I know that they will be there when I need them to be and guide me in directions that I need to be going. But also challenging me, and that could help me realize that I can do things and that I didn't think I could, and that they believe in me and they know I could do it, which would make me feel very grateful that I have people in my life like that. Another thing that I find important with knowing if you've outgrown a mentor or supervisor is if the feeling is mutual. I feel like you have to agree with one another that a supervisor isn't needed any longer, and also have appreciation for the supervisor that they've helped you for so long. During both my practicums, I found having a supervisor really helped me because every week we would meet and talk about how my week went, what I did, what I enjoyed, what made me nervous, if there was a time I didn't know what to do, and we would go over everything. And it was nice because both supervisors really listened to me, and I didn't feel like I was being judged. The supervision meetings always helped me because they always gave me feedback, which is what I wanted and what I needed, and that's how I learned and grew. That's when I start to reflect as a worker and tell myself, okay, this is working, or okay, this isn't working, and next time I'm going to try it this way. Also, during the supervision meetings, they didn't just give me critical feedback, they also told me what they liked that I've done, which made me feel good. My current skill set for self-monitoring and professional development, I find that I'm skilled in a way. I know how to use and access supervision. During both of my practicums, I knew when I needed help and what questions I wanted to ask about specific topics. For example, during my second practicum, after each group we had every week, I would always ask my supervisor how she thought I did, how she thinks I could improve, or even just asking her questions like, when this happened, is there another way I should have approached it? Or if this happens, how should I handle it? And I always found what she said helpful. And that helped me grow as a worker every time, because I learned new ways to approach things. I would always ask questions about this specific program as well. Another way that I access supervision is when I would write case notes or access treatment plans. I would always ask questions, and when I was done writing them, my supervisor and I would always went over them together, and she told me what I did right or what I could have said instead, and I found that very helpful. I will use my supervisors in the field because I find it important and it will help myself grow as a worker. How I will make sure I'm not plateauing is by always asking how I'm doing as a worker. Currently at my job, I'm always asking to do more and asking how I did or how I can improve, and asking out others how they think I've done and how they think I can improve professionally. And asking those questions will help me not plateau because I will know that I'm doing the right thing or will help me improve. How I know if I'm feeling stuck is when I wouldn't know what direction to go with a client. But because I haven't had that experience yet, I haven't been stuck in that way. When I will be stuck, that will be when I can challenge myself as a professional to grow. I can grow by attending trainings and workshops that could help me improve in certain areas. For example, if a client starts talking to me about a subject that I'm not skilled in, that's when I would become stuck. And that's when going to trainings and workshops about that subject could then help me get unstuck and help me be able to talk to that client about that subject. Also, making a self-care plan and writing in a journal every day could help me make sure that I don't feel stuck, because that could help me reflect on what I did that day and what I could do next time to improve. Burnout for me means when you go for so long and you don't take any time to yourself. Burnout in the workplace is when you're always thinking about work, even when you're not at work. Especially with this field, it's hard to just leave work at work and trying not to bring it home with you. But trying to do that will help with burnout. When I know that I'm starting to feel burnout is when I feel emotionally drained. I'm so tired that I don't want to focus on anything, and I just want to be by myself. And I also find that I get irritated, so I have to space myself from others because I don't want to get frustrated with them. Compassion fatigue is when you don't have the compassion for what you used to. Someone in the field could feel compassion fatigue when they've been in the field for so long and they feel that they've done their time and that they don't want to do it anymore because they're tired of helping children and helping others. I haven't felt compassion fatigue, but if I ever started to feel that way, I would have to remind myself why I started this job in the first place and how I felt when helping others when I first started out. When someone is starting to feel burned out or compassion fatigue, that is when a self-care plan is so beneficial for a worker because it could prevent them that from happening. For me, a self-care plan is helpful when I start feeling burnt out, because that's when I realize and tell myself that I need to start doing things for myself more. For example, my self-care plan consists of taking walks. I enjoy taking walks, and I find that very refreshing. Going to the movies. I love watching movies. I feel that I get lost in movies, just like when I read a book. I get lost in the characters. Taking a bath. I find that's very soothing and relaxing. I find mentors and having supervision is very important, especially in this field, because it never hurts to ask questions and have that support that could help you grow in the field. Mentors and supervisors have started with no experience as well, and they know what it's like to just be starting out, and they know how important supervision is. So I find that most will be wanting to help workers that aren't so experienced, because people can thrive off of that. And this field is always developing. Therefore, I find it helpful to have supervisors and mentors because they can help you grow and reflect as a worker, which will then benefit the clients that we work with.